Shabbat Shalom. I now see, looking out here, I see Rabbi Ford's fear of singing. I can kind of relate to that a little bit. So, in this week's Parsha Balak, we talk about Balak. However, much like the Disney masterpiece Encanto and its character Bruno, we won't talk about Balak. Instead, I want to go into depth about the Haftarah. I'll give you a quick wrap of the Torah portion before we go into the Haftarah. Balak is the king of Moab, and he sends Bilam, who is not a Jewish prophet, but can nonetheless talk to God because there are such things as non-Jewish prophets, to go curse the Jewish people. However, Bilam can't curse the Jews. He physically cannot curse them because Hashem won't allow him to curse the Jews. Because the Jews are blessed by Hashem himself. So therefore, he can't curse them. And hence comes the wonderful blessing, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkenotecha Yisrael. How fair your tents are, house of Jacob. How wonderful your dwellings are, Israel. So whenever he attempts to curse them, he just gives them the blessing instead. And certainly we're aware of the talking donkey, as Rabbi Ford so eloquently put last night, the talking donkey that was afraid of getting its head run in with a fiery sword. And that Bilam acted with a stick, and God revealed himself to Bilam and told him, you still can't do this. You still can't curse the Jews. There's also the narrative at the end of the Parsha. There's an awful plague going around the camp, and it's because people are acting immorally. Pinchas, the grandson of Aaron, stops this terrible plague amongst the camp of the Israelites by killing a Jewish man while he is sleeping with a Midianite woman. So to wrap up the whole Parsha, God protects the Jewish people, but doesn't take too kindly when you act immorally. Well, a very similar narrative occurs in this week's Haftarah as well. This week's Haftarah comes from the book of Micah. Micah prophesies the coming of the Mashiach will come with the destruction of all other idols. He scolds the people of Israel for being immoral and prophesies terrible things happening to the Jewish people because of their immorality. There's even a reference to Balak and Bilam as part of God's reminder to the Jewish people that God would always protect the Jewish people. As Hashem said, my people, remember what Balak, king of Moab, plotted against you, and how Bilam, son of Beor, responded to him. And Micah was a contemporary of Jeremiah, who was in the whole, doomsday prophecy business. So it's no wonder Micah is spreading this whole don't stray from Hashem or you'll be smitten spiel. But the ending of the Haftarah and the ending of his prophecy is more of a positive command than anything else. A reminder, if you will. And Rabbi Ford alluded to this before we read the Haftarah. He has told you, O man, what is good and what the Lord requires of you, only to do justice and to do love goodness and to walk modestly with your God. This almost feels like a parent telling a child, we've taught you what you know. Now go out into the world and remember whom we raised you to be. But that tends to be the sort of relationship God has with the Jewish people throughout the Tanakh. Whether it's God giving blessings of love upon the people Israel or reprimanding Moses for hitting the rock, God tends to play a parental role in the lives of the Jewish people. This all reminds me of a tale involving two rabbis, Hillel and Shammai. And for those of you who know me, by the way, you know I like this story. A man decides that he wants to convert to Judaism. However, to be sure of his decision, he wants to ask the rabbis who convert him for a favor. A very strange favor, very strange. First, he goes to visit Shammai. He asks, can you teach me the entire Torah while standing on one foot? Now, Shammai is very upset by this, as he is very strict, and he's taking this very, almost literally. He's like, the entire Torah? Yeah, no, he won't do it. He rejects him. However, when the man goes to Hillel, Hillel is very happy to accept this. He tells him, all right, let's do it. And he stands on one foot, and Hillel tells him, Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha, love your neighbor as you love yourself. The rest is commentary. Go study. So the moral of these stories should be a fairly obvious one. Don't wish harm upon people, and remember God's covenant with us at Mount Sinai. However, these stories are also reminders that we should be a shining example of the human race whenever we present ourselves to the world. We should always strive to do good for others. In this way, we serve God more than any other mitzvah, because Ahavat Chesed is the baseline and the essence of who we are as a people. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Yasha Koach and Neal, I know that public speaking is not your favorite, but it's always wonderful to hear from your voice in whatever form, speaking or singing. And what a wonderful send-off, because I know, as I think y'all know, this is Neal's last Shabbat with us for a while. I know, it's very sad. You've done a wonderful job, and it's been a pleasure.